Welcome to the Trippy Commentaries Super Bowl preview. We have finally made it to the big game. The Seattle Seahawks have conquered the NFC. The Denver Broncos have vanquished the AFC. And now they meet up in New Jersey, where it should be pretty frigid for a monster matchup. But before that, let's get into the Pro Bowl. We have all the matchups, all the biggest ranks, everything.
Huh?
Are you guys ready?
What? What is it?
I thought they canceled
You
that.
ready for the Pro Bowl?
What time does it come on?
No, okay, never mind. Well, I guess we'll just skip that. Let's go straight to the Super Bowl.
I heard a good point about the Pro Bowl, actually, that they should try these ideas that they have in the Pro Bowl. Like, if they want to put the laser down the goal line and have it where the ball lights or whatever they were talking about.
No extra point.
No extra point. Try all that stuff on the Pro Bowl. Why not?
I agree 100%. Especially for us. I mean, it's not like we're going to watch the game, so fuck with it as much as you want. Go for it.
Anyway, who cares about the Pro Bowl?
Yeah.
This is about the Super Bowl.
Hell yeah, man. Go crazy with the Pro Bowl. But the Super Bowl is the holy grail of everything in sports every year. So let's go ahead and break it down. We got Peyton Manning trying to get that elusive second Super Bowl victory. Seattle Seahawks, they've made a Super Bowl, of course, once before going against Pittsburgh. That was a close game. Yeah. The refs kind of jobbed them on that one, but that was then. This is now. First thing I want to bring out is the fact that if Peyton Manning can pull this off, how cool would it be that he would actually be the first quarterback in NFL history to win a Super Bowl with two separate teams? Obviously, we saw Montana get close, but we got to give it to him. That's badass, right?
Yep. I mean, this would put the icing on the cake for Peyton Manning. I mean, this puts him top of the list, number one, best all time.
And I don't think we would blame him for retiring if he does win the Super Bowl here, right?
I wouldn't blame him, but I hope he doesn't.
Neither do I.
You know
Obviously, we do not want him to. And I don't expect him to. I'm just saying if he does win it, I cannot blame him for going out early.
No doubt.
So what are some early things that you're looking into coming into the game? Of course, we got the Trippy Comms. Let's go ahead and introduce us. I'm RJ, KMAC, Kyle, Justin.
Yo.
We're here to break down the game for you folks. And Justin, man, what's some early things you looking at? I know, of course, you're a big Peyton Manning fan. You like his outlook heading into the game?
I sure do, but I'm going to switch the topic on you. I'm going to go with Russell Wilson versus the Denver defense here.
I like it.
Everyone's going to focus on the Seattle defense against Peyton Manning, but let's see what Russell Wilson can do against the Broncos. They were 7th against the run in the NFL this year.
Yeah.
Marshawn's, he's going to have a 100-yard game as he always does.
He probably will.
But let's see what happens. I think that Denver hasn't really faced a quarterback that's more a scramble type. They've been facing Alex Smith and Phillip Rivers. They're not used to the scrambling type quarterbacks. So we're going to see Russell Wilson running around the field trying to make plays. Let's see if the linebackers can catch up with him.
Yup.
And that's a good point because going into this game, I'm thinking, man, I really like the Seahawks, I like how their defense is playing. And then the last two playoff games Denver played in, I'm like, damn, look at this defense.
Yeah.
These guys look amazing right now. These linebackers are going to be all over Russell Wilson, man, and they're going to be all over the beast. They're going to try to shut him down because you got to shut him down to win this game. Make Russell Wilson make those plays, and I like the defense. And but hey, Russell Wilson, he doesn't have to play a great game to win this game. No turnovers, get a touchdown pass, have 50 yards rushing, throw for maybe 200 yards. He probably is going to win this game.
Yeah, if he can have a couple big plays in the passing game. Like Justino was saying, we expect Marshawn Lynch to do his thing. I'm real happy to see him make the Super Bowl. He certainly deserves it. Sure. Over the past 3 years, he's been one of the best running backs. Very impressive. Yep. But that said, I mean, like you guys brought up with the Denver defense, they've been extremely impressive. They haven't allowed over 17 points in the last 4 games. Yeah. So that's including 2 playoff games. Yeah. You have big Terrence Pot Roast Knighton in the middle, who's all of a sudden blowing up. He looks like a monster.
Huge week last week.
Yeah, he was obviously a huge reason why they won. LeGarrette Blount, 5 rushes for 6 yards? That's pathetic. Yeah. That's in a championship game. Come on.
And the guy I've been talking about all year long, Danny Trevathan, their number one leading tackler in the team. This kid's all over the field, and he's going to make some plays, man. Russell Wilson's going to go to scramble, and it's going to be interesting to see how he plays him. If he's going to back off and try to make break up a play in the pass game, or if he's going to attack him. Yeah. I think they have to attack him. They can't let Russell Wilson run, so they need to shut him down. Make him make that throw. Hope already that because you got Duke Iheanacho back. You got Champ Bailey back, who's playing great.
First time
and
Super Bowler.
you got old DRC, Rogers Cromartie, who came back last week and looked like a freaking stud. He was all over the place making
He's had a great season.
So, I mean, you have this all of a sudden revamped secondary, and, I think they can... The defense is definitely a great matchup against the Seattle team.
Yeah, definitely got to call out the Denver defense. They've been playing great. Your guy, Danny Trevathan, he's only a rookie, so he's going to have an excellent career ahead of him. He's already in the Super Bowl, looking to become a champion in his rookie season.
On our all-trippy team as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, so obviously a lot of things to talk about with the Seattle offense going against the Denver defense. One thing I do want to ask you guys about, of course, is Percy Harvin, a guy we talk a lot about. Normally, because I really like Justin's point that he brought up a couple weeks back to where it's like a lot of people talk about Percy Harvin, but the truth of the matter is we really haven't seen him. Seattle is in the Super Bowl, without him. He didn't help them. He was on there a couple plays in the first playoff game, and that's about it. But now they're saying he's 100%. Do you think, he definitely could be an X factor if he's going to play like the Percy Harvin we've seen in the past?
Yeah, I'm not buying it. I don't feel that I just don't think he's 100%. Dude got knocked out. He got destroyed twice.
He did.
In that game. It was almost like they were freaking headhunting for him. Obviously, they pretty much did. So even when he comes back, if he's all of a sudden, he can't play. He can't play last week. He's like, I'm not going to play. And then all of a sudden, they get to the Super Bowl now. He's like, hey, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. He wants to play in this game. He takes one hard hit. He's probably going to be done for the rest of the game.
Absolutely.
That's true, but I also think it's kind of a distraction technique. They're trying to throw Denver off the game plan.
Great, yeah.
If they do use him on special teams, I think is where he's going to factor in. Receiving, he'll have a couple catches, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to get your thoughts on that. I was kind of thinking that same thing where, Pete Carroll just came out the other day and said, Percy's 100%, he's ready to go, no limitations in the Super Bowl at all.
Yeah.
And it makes you think that, that's great for Seattle. That's a huge weapon.
Oh, if it's true and he feels great about how he is, and they taking last week off all of a sudden healed him, that's a huge difference in this game because he is definitely their number one playmaker on offense.
Of course, but like Justin said, and as you mentioned, is it throwing out bogus information? We will see. Now, before we get to the Denver offense versus the Seattle defense, I think that's definitely a lot of talking points around that we're going to have to get to.
Oh, yeah.
But one thing we got to mention is, of course, weather is going to be a big factor in this game. Right now, they're saying early indications are it might be around 20 degrees. MetLife Stadium is always pretty windy. There's a chance of snow. And I personally am really hoping for snow. I'd love to see snow in the Super Bowl. I don't know why everybody is so against that. It'd be awesome to see that. It'd just be a hell of a spectacle. But the one thing that would be crazy is that if it does get too crazy with the weather, is they've already said that they have plans already in place to move the game. That would be bogus, right? You can't move the game from Super Bowl Sunday. What the fuck?
There's no way.
No, last year we have the Blackout Bowl. This year we're going to have the freaking Snowed Out Bowl. What the hell?
Yeah, the Whiteout Bowl.
And the thing that sucks is where it's at. You're getting that humid, wet cold, and everything just feels way worse. Shit freezes way easier. It's not like we're out in Denver and it's snowing. It's, it feels nice outside and it's snow flurries coming down.
Right.
This is going to be like a frigid cold that doesn't feel good. And that's going to hurt Peyton Manning if it is cold. It's been proven, but... it's we don't know what's going to happen. I think last week they were saying it was going to be cold, and it was like 40 degrees. So
exactly, that's why it's really tough to talk about it. We have to brush on it because it might end up being a huge factor in the Super Bowl.
If it is, that sucks. You know what I'm saying? If it is, it sucks. The Super Bowl, they should be able to play at their highest potential. But hey, weather's part of the game, right?
Absolutely, and I was saying, I would love to see it snow. I don't really think that's going to hamper anybody.
These are both cold weather teams. How is it really going to bother them that much?
Exactly. That's why I don't think that would really affect Peyton Manning. I'm a little bit worried about the wind with Manning, but this, to me, it's the battle of, Houdini. Everybody calls Russell Wilson versus Houdini versus basically another Houdini, because Peyton Manning, he seems like he throws ducks half the time, but they always just go exactly where they need to go. And even in the wind, I could see Peyton Manning pulling off some stuff. So,
well, he did it in the San Diego game. It was windy as could be, and Phillip Rivers looked horrible. His passes were everywhere. And Peyton Manning was getting it done, man.
Yep.
He probably knows the right spin to throw it where it doesn't affect.
Peyton's the only player on either team that have won a Super Bowl. There's very little experience between both of these teams going into the game. I feel like that's going to factor in. That's how turnovers happen. That's how bonehead plays happen.
Yeah.
And you can't afford to do that, especially if you're Seattle. And Russell Wilson lost the ball in the first play of the game last week.
Marshawn Lynch fumbled on the goal line and almost cost him the game.
Yeah, right. That was a crazy play right there. I mean, I was happy, even though I was rooting for Seattle, I was happy it happened because we had just saw Navarro Bowman get that horrific injury where they totally botched the call there. And luckily, karma kind of prevailed to where San Francisco got the ball back. I mean, it didn't help them, but I was just happy to see that. But anyway, so going back to the Super Bowl, we kind of finished off the Seattle offense versus the Denver defense conversation. I really like the fact that Denver has Trevathan, and that's going to give them a pretty good weapon against Russell Wilson. Even though Trevathan's a rookie, I really like him in that role, so that's going to be a huge matchup to watch.
I think Sean Phillips is going to be big, man. I think he's not going to allow Russell Wilson to get outside the pocket on his side. He's going to be coming down on him hard. And, Sean Phillips can come through and strip him. I mean, Russell Wilson might drop back, come around the backside, boom, knock it out of his hand. It happens. I mean, quarterbacks like Russell Wilson, they start scrambling, they start wanting to make plays, Houdini-type plays. They do make them, but sometimes that defensive end gets lucky and catches an arm right across the ball, and it can totally change the game.
Absolutely. So you bring up Sean Phillips. I kind of want to go ahead and bring that to the other side of the ball, where I'm not hearing a ton of people talk about the Seattle Seahawks defensive line. They got a ton of ballers on that line. A lot of guys that are, of course, going to get after the quarterback. And the one thing that I kind of compare the Super Bowl to a little bit is the Patriots when they went in with the undefeated season. Their offense was extremely high-level baller status, and they went against the Giants that were incredibly hot, especially their defense, and especially their defensive line. Exactly. Michael Strahan, all these guys were on fire. And look what they did to Brady, right? They managed to really fluster Brady. You could see it really affected him in that game. So as the Seattle Seahawks defensive line, do you think they are going to be capable of getting that kind of pass rush on the Broncos, with the Broncos offensive line being so good? Last week we saw Peyton Manning not even touched. He can wear the same exact jersey that he wore last week into the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I think. It's not really a question about how good Seattle's defensive line is, because they are very good, one of the best in the league. They come fast. Tony McDaniel up the middle is a beast. All right, he's going to have pressure coming from the middle. He's got Clemens and Bennett coming off the outside, and both those guys are fast playmakers.
And Averill.
And he's got Averill coming at him,
and Bruce Irvin.
Wait a second. Denver Broncos are number one in the league in giving up sacks. They do not give up sacks because Peyton Manning is that smart. He knows when the pressure's coming, he gets rid of it. He throws checks downs. He's going to throw underneath all game long. He's going to have to, because the secondary for Seattle is that good, so that's what he's going to have to do.
Yeah.
But the defensive line is going to bring it, and they're going to have to get pressure on Manning. That's the only way you can beat him. It's documented. You get any quarterback, doesn't matter who it is, Tom Brady too. You get pressure on that quarterback, you're going to rattle them, and they're not going to play nearly as good as if they, because it's like 7-on-7 at that point. When they know they're not going to get hit, okay, boom, all day long. There's always going to be holes in the defense. Peyton Manning can put the ball anywhere. Harris Thomas is going to come down with it. I mean, come on.
Of course. I mean, we'll see if there's holes in this defense. That's the question. And the one thing I heard a lot of stories about players who went against Peyton Manning saying just how frustrating it is to go against him, because you think you're going to, you're busting through, you think you're going to get in there and maybe get a sack. Oh, wait a minute, it was gone 2 seconds ago. You're way the hell too late.
His movement in the pocket is like no other. I mean, he's not fast. He's not athletic at all.
He's got that quick feet.
He's got the quick
Always
feet.
moving.
I don't understand why more quarterbacks don't do it. They don't see, look what he's doing. Look what he's doing. Why am I not doing this? Because it works for him. Because, the thing is, it's all about footwork when you're in the pocket. Your feet determine how accurate you're going to throw the ball. Your feet are off. You see Cam Newton, Colin Kaepernick, some of these guys, their feet are all whack, and they're trying to throw a pass using their arm. You can't do that. In college, it works. NFL, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we need to get our quarterback, Mike Glennon. I mean, he's a Southern boy like freaking Peyton Manning. We need to get them together. Have Glennon start moving his feet here, man. Come on. Yep. So let's go ahead and dive into this Denver offense versus Seattle Seahawks defense matchup. Oh, man, one thing you really got to credit the Seahawks Legion of Boom defensive backs, just how good they are. You have obviously Richard Sherman, probably the premier cornerback in the league. You have Earl Thomas, arguably, probably not even arguably at this point, the premier free safety in the league.
Cam Chancellor.
Cam Chancellor's an excellent strong safety.
He is a beast. He's the beast of their defense.
To me, he was player of the game last week.
Yeah, I would not wish my greatest enemies to get tackled by Cam Chancellor over the middle, because that guy just completely lowers the boom.
Yep, and Byron Maxwell, who had a great game last week, too.
Yeah, right? Jeez. And then they have Walter Thurman, another cornerback who maybe if he played for the Bucs, we'd never hear of him. But he's another guy that I feel like every time I see, he's making plays. The freaking nickelback is making plays out there. So definitely got to give credit to the Seahawks defense. Their linebackers with Bobby Wagner, Bruce Irvin, definitely making some plays. We saw Malcolm Smith. A lot of people, gave Richard Sherman a lot of credit last week with that deflection, but it was Malcolm Smith, the linebacker, who had to rush over there and make the play. If he doesn't make that catch, then guess what? Richard Sherman is going right back to his boy Michael Crabtree, lining up right against him, and he's got to make that play over again.
Second down. They got 3 more plays they could have ran. I mean, this secondary is going to have to be that good. They are going to have to be that good. This is the best matchup. This is the only secondary I feel in the league that has a chance to go against the Broncos.
For sure.
Yeah, and one thing I'm calling right now, and I love Richard Sherman as much as anybody else. I mean, Stanford grad, grew up in Compton, next to our boy Kendrick Lamar there, and I like him a lot, but I gotta say, I kind of see Peyton Manning kind of say, you're so good, Richard Sherman. What happens when I get a 50-yard bomb on you with Demaryius Thomas making a ridiculous catch? What next? Then what are you saying? So we'll see. I can kind of feel that coming, because Peyton Manning, I don't think he's going to be stopped by any cornerback. I could see Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison going against freaking Deion Sanders back in the day and still getting a touchdown. That's how good Peyton Manning is, especially when he's matched up with a baller number 1 wide receiver. And then, of course, you got all the other receivers going at the same time. Is there any receiver, out of all the receivers, because you do have Demaryius Thomas locked down with Richard Sherman, so there's a chance he's not going to be as good as we're used to seeing. Is there any receivers that you're looking at in this game to have a good game?
I'm going to be worried about Wes Welker getting popped over the middle by Chancellor. Yeah. So I'm going to have to go with Decker. I see him getting open against the the 3rd and 4th string guys for the D-backs for the Seattle Seahawks. But
yep.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to say Decker, I think, but they're going to focus on Julius Thomas here. He's going to be the one that's going to be mismatched on the linebacker. He can outrun the linebacker easily. So.
I think so as well. I agree.
I mean, my feature for the receivers, and I wish I just had a camera I could sit there and watch, like the overhead camera, just follow Demaryius Thomas and Richard Sherman around, because this is going to be a football at its highest degree that you're going to see here. You're going to see one of the most dominant wide receivers in the league against arguably the number 1 cornerback in the league this past season, going against each other. Both these guys know how important this game is, and it's like, Richard Sherman, can you handle a guy like Demaryius Thomas? I can't really doubt him, because his footwork is amazing. He's great off the line. He's going to jam him. He's going to jam him right off the line, and that's going to hurt Peyton Manning. So I think Peyton Manning's definitely have to look other places and try to hit Thomas on a big play.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like I said, I have a feeling that Thomas is going to get his. Another guy we just mentioned that I think is going to do really good is Julius Thomas as well. I mean, like Justin said, that's a good matchup, and that's definitely a matchup that the Terminator Peyton Manning is going to look to exploit. So let's go ahead and end it off for part 1. We're going to go ahead and give our predictions and go ahead and finish up talking about this huge Super Bowl game that we have coming up. So make sure to stay tuned for that, and we'll catch you then. Peace out.